They say that the white European male is to blame for all the evils of humanity and that he must apologize for everything. Surely he does have to apologize for many things, especially for what happened when global hegemony passed into British hands. But now they claim that the European man must carry the guilt for the slavery of black people. Welcome to Powerful Minds in Action. Here we question official narratives, reveal uncomfortable truths, and analyze what no one dares to discuss. If you enjoy this content, subscribe, leave your like, and activate the notification bell to support this project. The more subscribers there are, the more this content reaches the people who truly care about these topics. And check the video description where you'll find links related to today's subject that help support the channel. Now let's go back to real history. There's something people never say. Slavery was a common practice throughout all of human history, and Europeans were not the first to enslave Africans, nor were they the ones who created the largest slave system in history. The biggest slave empire in all of human history was the Ottoman Empire, the Muslim Turk Ottoman Empire. Numbers may vary, I don't care if it's 100,000 more or less, but it's estimated that between 1500 and 1700, about 400,000 Africans were captured and taken to the Americas as slaves. But in that same period, between 1500 and 1700, around 2 million Christians were captured and taken to the slave market of Constantinople, the largest slave market in the world. Who did they prefer to capture? Women, because they were sold as sexual slaves. Strong boys, to convert them to Islam and turn them into soldiers. The weak, they castrated and turned into eunuchs and sexual playthings. We're talking about Spaniards, Italians, Greeks, Ukrainians, Russians, and Africans as well. African slavery began under the Arabs and was later continued by the Turks. For them, it was even easier. They didn't need ships. They forced people to walk across the land to the slave markets in what is now Saudi Arabia or Syria. The Ottoman Empire was a fully slave-based empire. They used slaves in the fields, in the homes, and the most brutal part, they turned them into galley rowers, a direct sentence to death. Without a doubt, the Ottoman Empire was the largest slave empire in human history. And here comes the ironic part. Europe and much of the West continue apologizing for things that happened centuries ago, while ignoring what is happening today in several regions of Africa and other parts of the world. Because you have to ask yourself, what does Europe think? What do Western countries believe? That with guilt-driven speeches, self-punishment, and politically correct narratives, they're going to change reality. Until they see with their own eyes what happens in certain African countries, coup d'etat, ethnic persecutions, human trafficking, new forms of modern slavery, child exploitation, and 1,000 more atrocities, they will keep pointing at the white man as if he were the origin of every evil. While history repeats itself across the planet, Europe looks the other way. Until when? Until someone wakes up? Or will they keep using guilt as a substitute for truth? This is Powerful Minds in Action. We don't hold back from telling the truth everyone knows, but almost no one dares to say for fear of breaking the narrative. For years, Europe and the West have repeated a narrative where the white European man carries all the historical guilt of humanity. But when we look at the full history, not the filtered version in textbooks, an uncomfortable truth appears. The biggest slave empire in history wasn't European, but the Ottoman Empire. Millions of Christians and Africans were captured, sold, forcibly converted, castrated, or sent to die as galley rowers. And while Europe keeps apologizing for events from centuries ago, today atrocities continue in many regions of Africa and around the world. Human trafficking, modern slavery, coups, persecution, yet hardly anyone talks about it. Here at Powerful Minds in Action, we don't repeat official narratives. We say things as they are, without fear and without filters. If you like seeing history without makeup, subscribe and join us. For years, people have repeated that the white European man is responsible for all of humanity's problems. But the full story tells a different truth. The largest slave empire wasn't European, it was the Ottoman Empire. Meanwhile, Europe keeps apologizing for events from centuries ago. And today, in many African regions, human trafficking, modern slavery, coups and persecution continue, almost in complete silence.